But first, make no mistake, the announcement at 7 o'clock this morning of a new security alliance between Australia, Britain and the United States, and our decision to shift to a nuclear-powered submarine fleet is the biggest decision by a federal government, bar none, in decades. At one level, it means that we will be acquiring an already existing submarine. It's still not clear whether it will be the British Astute class or the American Virginia class or something thereof, but it will already be a proven capability with only minor modifications at most that's vastly superior to any conventional submarine. Instead of getting a retrofitted diesel-powered version of a French nuclear sub sometime in the mid-2030s, which is a bit like getting a V8 car and taking out the engine, putting in a four-cylinder and expecting comparable performance, we'll be getting the real thing. And it should be available with us inside a decade. It's even possible that to give us cover till the new subs are built and help train Australian crews, we could lease nuclear submarines from the US or Britain and run them with composite crews much earlier. Now, we'll see. But without a doubt, what's been announced today is hugely significant. It's an historic decision. Nuclear submarines have double the speed and much more capacity for weaponry. Most importantly, they never have to surface, where any sub, of course, is vulnerable, and their range and endurance is almost unlimited. A nuclear submarine could get from Western Australia to the South China Sea in days rather than weeks and would be virtually undetectable en route. This decision today is much more than just another bit of defence procurement. There are only 6 countries currently running nuclear submarines in the world, so this acquisition puts Australia into altogether a different league as a military power and makes us a much more significant member of the Western Alliance. Obviously, this deal makes us even more locked in with the United States and its strategic rivalry with China. It's not always an upside, and with our other Quad partners too, India and Japan. Our long-standing relationship with the United Kingdom is strengthened by this deal, and they're also now locked back into our region, which, given the challenges we face, is only a positive. With the fraught situation over Taiwan and China's ambitions to drive the US out of the Western Pacific, today's move is not without its danger. But with diplomatic relations at China at a very, very low ebb and getting worse, history shows strength is more likely than weakness to deter a bully. Finally, this decision today makes it crystal clear that Australia is serious about our own defence, and we aren't expecting others to do it for us, because a nuclear-powered deterrent says to any country, even a superpower, well, not an easy mark. Beyond just, though, the defence read on today's decision, what it says to me, boldly in political terms, it says we are still a country that can make big decisions. Frankly, after a period of endless squabbling between states where the Prime Minister seemed little more than a chairman of a committee rather than our national leader, hallelujah. All credit to Prime Minister Scott Morrison for showing leadership of the highest order here today. He not only announced nuclear-powered submarines, he announced nuclear power, of course, but it's hard to imagine that nuclear power at sea won't eventually lead to nuclear power on land too, right? Hope to God it does. After all, nuclear doesn't just give the government a convincing position on national security, it can give us a convincing position on climate change too. PM's not there yet, but I hope he will. The fact that detractors like Labor's Paul Keating have complained about our enhanced US relationship, and the nuclear deniers like the Greens are already trying to get up a scare campaign, explains why federal Labor was begrudging in their support today, and that begrudging okay didn't really arrive until early afternoon, with a whole lot of conditions too from the leader, Anthony Albanese, of course, from Labor's left faction that have got a lot of issues with nuclear. Our world might be changing for the worse, but today, Australia changed for the better, and we will be a safer and stronger country as a consequence.